Hey guys, so yesterday I posted a video with my thoughts and a bit of a recap regarding the WWDC 2021 keynote, and since then I've been able to catch up with the platform State of the Union keynote. So today we're gonna do the same and talk about the more developer-focused news. And if you stay until the end of the video, I have a few things to talk about that were not mentioned in either keynote and that I've been able to find out by looking at documentation and tweets and things like that. So a few cool developer extras. But if you're new around here, my name is Rodolfo. In this channel we talk about iOS development, tech in general, productivity, and everything in between. So if that's something that you're into, leave a like, it helps the channel, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you can get the next videos when I post them. So the first thing about the State of the Union is they gave a little bit more information about the Xcode Cloud CI service that they are launching. And it seems like a very comprehensive CI solution. It does a lot of what I do today with Bitrise, but it's very integrated into Xcode. Pull requests, code reviews, everything in Xcode without having to switch apps. What it also does is it manages all the certificates and code signing stuff for you all automatically. This is a bit of a pain in Bitrise. Every so often we get issues with code signing and things break apart. So in this case, it's gonna be all done automatically, like code signing in the cloud, and it's gonna take care of all of that for you. You're not gonna have those sorts of issues. As I said, the code review stuff is all done inside Xcode, and the interface seems a lot better than what I'm used to with Bitbucket. You're gonna have comments in line, you're gonna be able to see local changes and changes that were asked for in comments in the code in Xcode. And one of the most useful things was being able to run tests repeatedly. So if you have tests that sometimes it passes, sometimes it doesn't, it's gonna make it much easier for you to try to catch in which situation it's passing and which situation it's failing, and fix the code and fix the test without having to run the test manually all the time. And because it's integrated with TestFlight, you're gonna be able to see the written feedback that someone leaves you right along your crash reports. Again, everything in Xcode, and being able to navigate to the line of code that's causing the trouble. So that's gonna be very interesting as well. The bad news though is that none of this is going to be free. So they're releasing it in beta for free for now this year, but once the service actually launches, and it's going to be next year, it's going to be a paid service, and they have not released yet how much it's going to cost and when exactly it's going to be available. And that is a bit of a bummer. We already pay $99 a year to be able to publish apps to the App Store, aside from the 30% cuts on sales, and it seems like this is gonna be something else on top of it. And we talked yesterday a little bit about the developer sentiment, how it's deteriorating. We have the antitrust things and the Epic lawsuit and things like that. And not only it doesn't seem that they've taken any steps to repair that, like there was no option added for outside payment processors, there was no cut in the 30% tax, and it seems like not only they didn't give any of that people were kind of hoping for, but they also created something else that's gonna be paid for outside of the $99 that we already pay for. Next up was Swift. So they talked a little bit more about the concurrency features. We're gonna have async await functions instead of completion handlers. It is able to use control flow, so you can choose which one you're awaiting the result for. They talked about structured concurrency, which means async variables or constants to help run tasks in parallel. We're gonna have actors to eliminate concurrent access and data races, and there is going to be a main actor, so no more using dispatch to main queue for UI stuff. You're just gonna be able to use that with awaits and get things in the main queue without having to dispatch to the main queue every time you need to. Next was SwiftUI, and the most interesting thing to me were modifiers for the lists that make it searchable, refreshable. You can have swipe actions. So if just simple modifiers, you're gonna have pull to refresh, search with autocomplete results, swipe actions. That was really nice to see. And they've also introduced platform specific code. So if something in Mac you need a table for, you can now have a table and have that be a list in iOS. They've talked about Swift Playgrounds for iPad, which now allows you to build apps and publish them to the App Store, but they've confirmed that it's going to be SwiftUI only, so you can't do UIKit apps on iPad. And the coolest thing was the new package-based projects. You're gonna be able to run those in Swift Playgrounds in iOS, do a bit of coding there, open that in Xcode on the Mac, do more stuff there, and then open in Swift Playgrounds again. So you're gonna be able to move back and forth between the iPad and the Mac, and that really helps with the idea of having a desktop at home and having an iPad for when you're out and about, and being able to do all your iOS development that way. Then they talked a little bit more about object capture, the thing that lets you create 3D models by taking 2D pictures of real objects with your iPhone, and it really does seem very easy to create the models and import them into RealityKit for you to work with. They talked a lot about new metal stuff. I am completely clueless when it comes to gaming development and graphics stuff, so I'm not even gonna try to tell you what was important, what was not about that part of the presentation. But if this is something that interests you, go take a look, because there was a lot of things in this section of the keynote. Then they moved on to the new Focus API. So now notifications are gonna have different interruption levels. So you're gonna have inactive, which is delivered silently to Notification Center. The active one that plays a sound like the notifications we have now. We have time-based ones that are time sensitive, and we're gonna have the critical ones that are gonna need a new entitlement for health and security purposes. And if your app is a communication app like WhatsApp, then there is a new type of notification to make it look different than all the other notifications. So people are going to be able to see avatars in those notifications that are from messages and calls and things like that. And they also talked about being able to customize the look of your notification. So you're going to be able to put a thumbnail image, and that is going to influence in its relevance or not to be shown in the new notification summary. There are also APIs related to the new focus profiles. So for example, Slack is going to be able to see which profile is being used at each time, and if it's a work profile, then Slack's gonna send notifications. If it's not a work profile that the user has set in iOS, then Slack's not gonna send notifications. So being able to see which profile the user is on and react to it accordingly. There is a new screen time API, which is mostly for parental controls. There are managed settings, which relates to setting restrictions like locking accounts, filtering web traffic, limiting access, and more. There are family controls, which relates to setting up a device for a child and being able to manage restrictions while keeping the child's privacy safe. So you're gonna be able to restrict access to some things, but not be able to see browsing history and things like that. And there's also device activity, which works kind of like screen time now. Oh, you only have 5 minutes left of Instagram, you only have 10 minutes left for gaming, but apps will be able to see that and grant more screen time. So for example, a homework app can grant more screen time for a child if it sees that the child completed the homework. Then we had widgets, not a lot here, just a larger size for the extra large widgets for iPad. And there are intents that you can set in your widgets that iOS is going to pick up on and be able to suggest that widget to a user even if they don't have your widget in the home screen already. Last but not least was SharePlay, which we saw yesterday, but it's interesting that it's not going to be used only for audio and video, not for just listening to music together or watching something together. You're going to be able to draw on the screen together, and it's not like screen sharing because the two people are going to be able, or more people are going to be able to each use their version of the app and have the result appear for everyone, like the drawing example in Notes that they showed. So I'm kind of hoping that Xcode has already implemented this and allows us to do pair programming in a way that we can't do now. All throughout the day we're always doing screen sharing with teammates, trying to help other people with bugs and things like that, and it would be way more useful to be able to actually write the code together and point out, like, if you change this line here, this may fix the bug, instead of having to just point out the line numbers to someone that's doing a screen sharing to you. And now for the extras that I mentioned in the beginning of the video. So the first one is that they are introducing something called Doc-C. So that's gonna allow you to create rich and engaging reference, documentation, articles alongside your code. And I kinda hope that that helps Apple fix some of their documentation problems. Next is a new UI sheet controller that you can customize and do a bunch of things to. There is a new UI tooltip interactor, so to help creating tooltips, UI image resizing and thumbnail creation. That's probably gonna be very, very useful. We've got confirmation that Test Flight for Mac is going to be macOS 12 only. And the last one, which I haven't been able to demonstrate because Xcode was still unzipping, but Xcode 13 can now import frameworks as you need them. So you're gonna be able to start creating a Swift UI view, and Xcode 13 will automatically put the import statement up at the top, and Xcode 13 is going to automatically bump up your build number for when you upload to the store. So no more errors because you're trying to upload a version that already exists with the same build number and version. So what did you think about the developer-focused things that they released? And did you find any other extra things that I didn't mention in this video? Please let me know everything in the comments. Let me know what you thought. Let me know the extras that you found. And if you enjoyed this video, please leave a like. It really does help the channel a lot. Subscribe, hit the notification bell, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye.